Once again, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Greynier Fuentes, and I am the VP of Digital Solutions at VeriTran. Thank you for joining us today on our Chapter 2 of the Local Stories, the series. As in Chapter 1 last month, I like to get things started with a quote from Jason Bloomberg, author of our book, Low Code for Dummies, which will be seen in in a few minutes at the end of the presentation, so you can download a digital copy of the book, so you can read ahead and read on the previous chapter that we covered during the last webinar. So pretty much, I like to use this quote to put things into perspective, because every piece of software, every application on this planet was written by hand, one line at a time, by a human being, and that was okay up until our digital world started increasing and demanding from the software engineers to deliver more quicker without sacrificing the quality and security of the products, of the digital products. Um, but guess what? There are not enough people in the world, especially software developers, that can keep up with the pace of the demand. So something had to be done. And while low code, it's not a new term and it's been out since the 70s and 80s, the technology wasn't there yet to deliver on the promise that we can deliver today. So to get things moving along, we'll like to get started with a few business drivers for low code. We'll be looking at three of them today. Obviously, we have more on the book, but since we have only a few minutes today, we'll like to cover the main three that we think are very important as to why all the interest and all the hype about low code today and what's driving all of that. First, today professional developers, they have many tools available to increase their productivity and efficiency, while also empowering them to, and the teams to generate better applications a lot faster. So basically, to understand the benefits of low code, the starting point always it's about speed and quality. That's the first thing that uh, to get started the conversations around low code. How quickly and what's the quality that I'm going to get out of the product that's going to be built using low code. So basically, creating applications using a simple, very easy to use visual interface has the clear advantages of speed as well as quality. So basically, far fewer things can go wrong when building an application using low code as compared to the traditional hand coding. So I'm not saying that just because you're using low code, you're going to end up building a high quality application, because it takes a little bit more than that. And and we still need the role of the developer, and we'll cover a little bit of that later on today. But what I am saying, that where low code really helps is in avoiding mistakes while building applications, making it also easier to do. It's pretty much helping avoid these mistakes that can lead to errors, or even worse, they could lead to security vulnerabilities. So basically, the world needed a solution to build applications a lot faster to deliver on that ever increasing digital demand, but at the same time, not sacrificing the quality and the security of such applications for the digital channels that at the hands of the end users. So that's where low code, it's being able to deliver on that promise. And we can take a look at different use cases, like mobiles, banking applications, insurance applications, even internal use applications for the business users, like HR applications and so on. They've managed their way into the user hands after being created using a tool or a platform like a low code. Another business driver that we're seeing, it's how low code is streamlining the work of the professional developers. So basically, given the wider range of people in the organization responsible for building applications, and combined with that, the greater focus on the customer experience, it is often very easy to think, or it's tempting to think, that the professional software developer has become a less important role in the era of low code. However, this is the complete opposite. Professional developers become even more essential because their role now centers on providing more strategic value. So just to add on to that, low code is not here to replace the role of the professional developer. We'll still need them because they need to provide that strategic value of the application that's been developed, and make sure that it provides and it performs to meet that then user demand and needs. Okay, so historically, creating software consisted of understanding and documenting the business logic, and combined with that, writing the actual code. Now, low code platforms pretty much eliminated or automated the writing code part of the equation. As a result, the role of the professional developer has shifted. Again, it hasn't been replaced. It only shifted to focus on the business logic, that part of the software that provides the value to the business, while also requiring the expertise of that professional developer. So again, the role simply shifted to go from having to worry about the writing the software and so on. It completely now shifted to focus on the business logic and what makes sense and what's the value that it provides for the end user that's going to be using that application that's being developed using a low code platform. And all right, and then another thing that's often confused about low code is that how it empowers those developers. So low code empowers both the professional developer and what we call, which we cover on the previous chapter, the citizen developer, which are internal users that are building custom internal applications to make better sense out of the data that's floating around all over the place. So pretty much it empowers these developers, time and effort to focus, less on what we call the plumbing of modern applications. So basically, they don't have to worry about, the networking piece of the application, the security of the application, integrating it with, and incorporating other software libraries. So all of that is completely eliminated, and now we empower these developers to actually focus again on that business logic and delivering the value that the platform can actually deliver to the end user. So not only, because before low code or before local platforms became actually usable to the point where they can actually perform as promised for the end user, the developers had to focus on all the the security aspects of the applications. Am I writing the code in a secure way? And that consumed most of their time because they needed to make sure that the application was developed to certain standards, that it met certain security aspects, and all of that has been taken care by the low code solution, tool, or platform that's being used for that purpose. So we've now completely eliminated all of that, again, what we call the plumbing, which is whatever is under the hood of the modern application. And we've now translated that and empowered these developers to focus on that value of that application and the business logic, which is what really matters for that end user. And at the end, it becomes strategic for the organization that's delivering this solution or application out there to the end user. Okay. Another business driver or key input that's driving all the hype behind the low code platforms and low code development, or as we call it, the low code movement, it's not only, you know, when we think about the main reason for using low code, a lot of people think it's always to build new application, but that's not necessarily the case every time. You know, sometimes you know, existing applications that are somewhat serviceable, but they need some freshening up. You know, the look and feel, it's outdated. It's not user friendly at all. So that's what, you know, a great case where low code can come in, and we can go ahead and replace or run in parallel to the existing application via an SDK. And I'm speaking about the specific case of VeriTran's low code platform. But basically, we can come in and redesign that user interface, and in some case also access special functions from the device itself. And I'll give you an example of that. The famous insurance claims example. Before, the adjuster had to come in, take notes, take photographs of the accident, and then this person went back to the office, and you know, they had to enter and scan all the data into the application, because the data entry, the backend system was there. It was just that the experience was horrible, so that this person had to go out there, take notes, take pictures, and then come back and input that, go through an after processing, and then re-enter all that data into the system, you know, scan all the pictures that it took from the accident. And it was just not the greatest experience, and it wasn't a quick process either. So what low code came in to solve at some point, you know, it created, by keeping that same business logic, it created a better user experience, providing the data entry capabilities to the end user to be able to provide all the details. So no longer the adjuster needed to take notes or go on site. So now that the user was able to input all of this data, take pictures by accessing the device's camera, and just like that, everything was, you know, inputted right from the user, and it was immediately in the backend system for the insurance company. So not only low code can deliver on these new applications, but enhancing and making existing applications a lot better and more user friendly for the user. Another case where low code comes very handy here, it's its ability to integrate and run in parallel to an existing application that is no longer serviceable, but you want to be able to add new features without having to throw away everything you've invested on, or that you recently invested and you're not willing to just repay for the same functionality again. But you know, business or end user demand is requiring for new functionality that is just not as easy, or it's not possible with the existing solution. So you can bring in a low code solution and run in parallel to that, be an SDK or anything, or through, in our case, through our studio, and enhance that existing application with new functionality. Like we can add soft token, multi-factor authentication, biometrics, we can do facial recognition, we can add geolocation services, all kind of things that we can go ahead and complement to that existing application without having to replace it completely. Another thing that we can, and I want to point out the flexibility of low code when updating and extending existing application, because it's a huge topic, because rarely a company wants to rip and replace. They usually like to get started, see how things go, excuse me, see how things go with the new platform or tool, in this case, low code that they're using, see how it performs, audit the security, see the value that it provides, and then if it makes sense, they start migrating, which is another advantage of having a low code platform. You can start in parallel to whatever is running. You can start migrating that existing functionality to take advantage of another thing that low code provides, and it's the ability to create and deploy new capabilities and functionalities back to the end user very quickly, error-free, and with the quality that they've come to expect, right? So another thing that low-code helps drive and under this update and extension of those existing applications. Now with the popularity of the cloud, users are finding ways to be able to migrate their on-premise applications and services into what we call cloud solutions, containers, microservices, serverless applications that are completely automated ways for the integration between DevOps, where we're able to deliver on that promise of continuous integration, continuous deployment, where the company is able to deliver new functionality or remove existing functionality, if that makes sense, or rebranding completely the whole experience of that application. And when I say application, it could be a mobile application for the phone, tablet, or even the watch and the wearables, or also a web application like a business portal for commercial banking or retail banking, or a payment solution, or even loyalty. So as you can see, a lot of benefits behind this low-code driver that's very attractive for organizations to deliver and on that promise to their end users. Because as a good friend of mine says all the time, the users today, they don't compare institutions, they don't compare banks, they don't compare insurance companies, they compare the experiences that they get out of their digital application that they're using to transact and go about their business. Okay, and before I wrap up this subject, because I know we only have a few minutes, and I like to open it up for some questions, and I like to show you how you can download our book, so you can go ahead and read ahead of our upcoming chapters. So I like to kind of give you an idea of where low code is being used today. We see low code being used for building internal applications for the business, HR applications, being able to create dashboards to make sense out of big data. We see for the external users, we see banks using low code for building their digital channels, the mobile banking, home banking, commercial banking, manage their loyalty, credits, loans, etc. We see insurance companies delivering applications for the end users, going back to that example I used earlier for the claims. But not only that, to deliver support and provide up-to-date information, that it's available all the time at the fingertips. So it is really something that's taken a huge leap, because technology has caught up to it, and now with the cloud technologies that are being able to scale and perform in elastically. So as the user demands goes up, the application grows with it, and it becomes more able to handle the traffic, the demand, and so on. And when things slow down a little bit, the application scales down to save on resources. So as technology, becomes more and more powerful, low code has been able to deliver on that promise of building that quality software while doing it 10 times faster than the traditional method. And that's a fact. With low code, you can actually deliver 10 times faster than as compared to hand coding. And not only that, you now have shifted the role of that developer into a more strategic role, where now that person is focusing on the business logic and the value that it provides, rather than focusing on the back end or the plumbing of the application, that is completely invisible to the user. And while it's the foundation of the application, the user never knows the value it provides. So it's transparent and it's seamless to the user. So low code is being able to deliver on that. And again, thank you for joining us today. I know it's very short, but we just wanted to get out there some of the key drivers of low code. We'll open it up for questions that you might have. And I think we have one in the chat window here. And while we wait for everyone, you can use the Q&A session of the Zoom. I'll go ahead and, while we wait for those questions, I want to give you a peek of what's coming for the next chapter. We'll be sending out the invitations for next month, towards the end of next month, and we'll be covering, your options for building applications, when to choose low code or no code, the different application builders, and and dealing with roadblocks. So even though low code is a great tool, and it is very easy, and the product is high quality, there's a lot of pushbacks, mainly because developers and some other key players in the process of creating an application think that low code is here to replace them, and when it's the complete opposite. All right. And with that, I'll leave you, while I wait for your questions, I'll leave you the screenshot where you can take a picture of the QR code, and you'll be able to get your free digital copy of our VeriTran Low Code for Dummies book, written by Jason Bloomberg. All right, let me take a look at the Q&A session, and I'll turn on my video now, since I'm done with the presentation. It usually interferes with the presentation, but a pleasure you all were able to join me today, and looking forward to seeing you on the next chapter with in the series. And by the way, the series has 5 chapters, so we got 3 more to go. And the last chapter, which will be in December, will be joined by Jason Bloomberg, which is the author of the book that you're seeing on the screen right now. All right, I think we have a couple of questions that came up here. One, does VeriTran use low-code vendor platform, or are you a vendor? And the answer is, we're the actual vendor. We developed a platform in-house, and we use our own platform for all the products that we built for the mobile space and the web. All of our mobile applications, all of our web application, and obviously all of our clients. We're the developers of the platform. And we have another question here. Do you have a methodology to overlap existing applications and new development of apps and functionality with low-code technology? I'm not sure if I understand correctly, but as far as when we bring in low-code via an SDK, we don't actually touch anything from the existing application. We do provide a process to be able to migrate that existing functionality once the client is ready to do so. So in that sense, I'm not sure if that's the answers your question, and I'll be, if you rephrase, if I didn't answer the question, let me know, and I'll be happy to adjust the answer. But we run in parallel to the existing application. We put in an SDK in the case of the mobile application, and then we'll go ahead and provide a process of migrating that existing functionality into the low-code environment. And we have one last question here in the window, and that is, does your low-code platform, I'm sorry, it just went out of my screen here. There you go. does your local platform delivers native code or interpreted code? And that's a very good question, very technical, but very good question. Because before a low code used to provide interpreted code, and that's why the performance never made it past test environments or prototyping. It was a great tool for prototyping, but it couldn't get to production because the performance wasn't there because it was interpreted code. Our low-code platform today delivers compilable native code, which means that whatever the platform produces can be exported out as native code, and it can be uploaded to the digital stores, or it can be run on any web server application. So that's a big difference. A very good question. And that's why, because it provides compiled code, it is now being able to deliver on that performance promise while also keeping that quality. All right. All right, so we got another question here. What skill sets will be required to configure off your platform? Now, the platform itself, it's packaged and configured out of the box. You do everything from a web portal where you synchronize your teams there. Your UX design team can work there. They can create all of that design work within the platform. They can bring in the images and then work on the CSS and all the themes and personalization of the platform. Your developers can build, and even if they need to write some code, our low-code platform gives them the ability to do so, especially when integrating to legacy systems. While we prefer to integrate web services and APIs, there are going to be some cases where there's a legacy system involved, and again, the back end, which it doesn't matter, we'll have to create that connection, and after that, you build that ultimate experience for the end user while consuming that very old legacy system. But the platform comes configured out of the box, and it's all a web portal where you manage every aspect of the platform. You know, building the application, the design, and being able to deploy the application that was created. All right, and that, you know, we're about 1 minute to end the session. I don't think we have any more questions in any either the chat or the Q&A session. Again, it's been a pleasure for everyone that joined today. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone on our next chapter, which we'll be announcing soon, and it will be towards the end of next month. So don't miss it. Stay tuned and make sure you download the book so you can read on the past chapters and read ahead on what's and you get a lot more details that we're not able to cover here in the webinars because we only have 30 minutes. And with that, all the information is on the chat window there. Looking forward to seeing everyone. It's been a pleasure. My name again is Greynier Fuentes, and I am the VP of Digital Solutions at VeriTran. Have a great day, everyone.